Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Heather haunts Sharon, surprise confession stuns Genoa City. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, murdered Heather Stevens, Vale Bloom. While everyone is just learning about Heather's death, Sharon will continue to cover her tracks. So, could Sharon end up blurting out a spontaneous confession if Heather begins haunting her killer? It likely won't be Heather's actual ghost, but another hallucination for Sharon. This hallucination could end Sharon's madness, though. Let's get started discussing the possibilities. I&R spoilers reveal that Heather found Sharon in the penthouse. After a confrontation, Sharon blacked out. When she woke up, Heather was dead. Sharon's hallucination, Cameron Kirsten Lyndon Ashby, urged her to dispose of the body and get rid of evidence. That's exactly what Sharon did, all the while covering with her loved ones. Sharon is full of guilt, but also doesn't want to go to prison. Most of all, Sharon is terrified of what Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, Faith Newman, Raylan Castor, and Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes will think if they learn the truth. However, Sharon's guilt isn't enough to have her tell the truth. Sharon is seeing a psychiatrist again and appears to be taking medication, but it could take a few weeks before any changes are noticed. In the meantime, Sharon is keeping up appearances and pretending everything is just glorious. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Sharon thinks that taking her meds again will make Cameron eventually disappear. However, what if Cameron sticks around, determined to make Sharon commit unthinkable acts? Clearly, Cameron is a hallucination and isn't real. But to Sharon, he looks as real as everyone else. With Cameron now pushing Sharon to kill Daniel Romalotti, Jr., Michael Griside, it seems the story is just heating up. Now that Heather's body has been found, a murder investigation will likely start. Sharon could be questioned as she went missing around the time of Heather's death. There is also a chance that someone did see Sharon that night, but was too afraid to confront her. I know I wouldn't open my door if I saw someone dragging a body down the hallway. There is also a chance that Sharon left behind some evidence. All the questions could have Sharon's guilt increasing. If that happens, she could easily spiral even further. What if another hallucination appears? What if Heather starts taunting Sharon, ultimately pushing her to confess? Is there any hope of redemption for Sharon now? In the heart of Genoa City, where secrets lurked behind every corner and betrayal brewed like a strong cup of coffee, a storm was about to brew, igniting tensions and stirring emotions among its residents. As the leaves began to fall from the trees, Sharon Newman found herself haunted by memories she thought she had buried. The unexpected return of Heather Stevens, her past intertwined with both Sharon and Nick Newman, sent shockwaves through the community, creating an atmosphere thick with unresolved tension. The warm glow of crimson lights was a stark contrast to the chill in the air that evening as Sharon wiped down the counter. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was coming, something she wasn't ready to face. The bell jingled above the door, and in walked Heather, her presence striking a jarring chord in Sharon's heart. Time had changed Heather. She was no longer the bright-eyed young woman whom had left town. Instead, she carried an air of determination and a glint of vulnerability in her eyes. "Sharon," Heather greeted, a bittersweet smile playing on her lips. "Wow, Heather. It's been a long time," Sharon replied, her voice steady, though her insides twisted with anxiety. Memories of their past filled the air between them, thickening it like fog. Heather's return sparked a frenzy of questions within Sharon's mind. Why was she back now? What unresolved issues lingered between them? The tension mounted as the two women stood in silence, their shared history heavy upon them. "Can we talk?" Heather finally broke the silence, her voice barely above a whisper. Sharon nodded, gesturing towards a booth in the corner where they could sit away from prying eyes. As they settled in, Heather leaned in, her expression serious. "I came back for a reason. There are things I need to tell you, things I should have said a long time ago." Sharon felt her heart race. She had always viewed Heather through a complicated lens of rivalry and camaraderie, especially given her past with Nick. "What is it, Heather?" she asked cautiously. "I've always admired you, Sharon. You've been through so much and yet always seem to find a way to rise above it. I want to apologize for the way things ended between us." When I left, I thought I was doing the right thing, but now I realize how selfish I was, Heather confessed, her voice trembling slightly. A flood of emotions washed over Sharon. She had spent years resenting Heather for what had transpired between them, but now, as she looked into Heather's sincere eyes, the walls she had built began to crumble. It wasn't easy for me either, Heather. Nick and I had our ups and downs, but your departure made things complicated, Sharon replied, her voice softer than before. I know. I made my choices, and I lived with them. But coming back here, I can't ignore the feelings I have anymore. I want to make amends, not just for us, but for everyone affected by my choices, Heather stated, her sincerity palpable. The conversation continued to unfold like a delicate flower, revealing layers of hurt and misunderstanding. But just as Sharon began to feel a glimmer of reconciliation, the door swung open once more, and Nick walked in. The moment his eyes fell on Heather, the air crackled with tension. He hesitated, his expression shifting from surprise to a guarded neutrality. Nick, Heather said, her voice a mixture of warmth and uncertainty. Hey, Heather. It's been a while, Nick replied, his tone measured. What brings you back to Genoa City? Just catching up with old friends, she responded, her eyes flicking toward Sharon. Nick sensed the unresolved tension, the unspoken words lingering between the two women. Sharon felt a knot form in her stomach as Nick took a seat across from them. Everything okay? He asked, his brow furrowing as he glanced between Sharon and Heather. Just a trip down memory lane, Sharon offered, trying to keep the mood light, though her heart raced. She could sense Nick's protective instincts kicking in, and she knew he would want to know everything. But Heather interrupted, her voice steady. Actually, Nick, there's something I need to tell you too. Nick's expression shifted, curiosity piqued. What is it? Heather inhaled deeply, gathering her courage. I've always struggled with my feelings for you, and I think it's important you know that. When I left, I thought it was the best choice for everyone, but the truth is, I never stopped caring about you. The words hung in the air like a weight, creating a silence thick enough to cut with a knife. Sharon's heart raced, she could feel the tension mounting, the potential for chaos brewing in the coffee shop. Are you serious? Nick's voice was laced with disbelief, and his eyes darted to Sharon, searching for her reaction. Heather nodded, her gaze unwavering. I know this isn't the time or place for this, but I can't pretend anymore. I've come to realize that my feelings were never really gone. I want to be honest with both of you. Sharon's mind raced. She felt blindsided by Heather's confession, the ramifications echoing throughout her world. Could she and Nick withstand the pressure of the past while still navigating the uncertainties of the future? The coffee shop felt too small, the walls closing in on her as she processed the implications of Heather's words. What do you want from us, Heather? Nick asked, his tone measured yet filled with concern. I just wanted to be honest, to clear the air, Heather replied, her voice steady. I don't want to come between you two. I'm here to make peace. As the tension escalated, the trio sat in an uneasy silence, each person grappling with their own thoughts and emotions. Sharon felt a wave of protectiveness for her life with Nick, but also a strange sense of empathy for Heather, who had clearly struggled with her feelings. We can't go back to what was, Heather, Sharon finally said, her voice firm but tinged with vulnerability. We have to focus on the present and the lives we've built. Nick and I have worked hard to find happiness. Can you respect that? Heather's eyes filled with tears, reflecting the turmoil that had followed her back to Genoa City. I just want you both to know that I'm truly sorry for any pain I caused. I never meant to hurt you, Sharon, or to complicate things with you, Nick. I'm here to start fresh, for all of us. The atmosphere shifted, a sense of understanding beginning to settle in. As they exchanged glances, the heavy burden of the past began to lift, creating an opening for forgiveness. But before they could delve deeper into this fragile new ground, the bell jingled again, announcing another arrival. This time it was Lily and Devan, entering with their usual vibrancy. As they spotted the trio at the booth, curiosity danced in their eyes. What's going on here? Lily asked, sensing the charged atmosphere. Nick shot a glance at Sharon, a silent agreement passing between them. It was time to share the truth with their friends, to bring them into the fold. Just some old business to settle, he said, attempting to ease the tension. As the evening progressed, the weight of Heather's confession lingered in the air, shifting the dynamics in ways they had yet to fully understand. In Genoa City, where lives intertwined like a tangled web, the past would always find a way to resurface, and the confessions that were left unspoken could echo for years to come. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow across the cafe, the residents of Genoa City braced themselves for the unfolding drama that would soon test the bonds of friendship and love, forcing each of them to confront the haunting echoes of their past and the uncertain paths ahead.